Good evening, everyone, and thank you. The anchor is gone, but I wanted to thank for the introductions. We exchanged a breath in the lounge, and I had sent an email of intent, as a moderator is supposed to do. How do we make sense of this? Creative economy, the two words, Creative Economy Forum says that creativity and economy need a coexistence, they need a partnership. And the fact that we have been asked to talk about it means that there is a relationship there that needs to be discussed, disclaimed, probably understood, and then taken back with us that holds long. So what I wanted to start with for the benefit of the audience is that there's no universe in which creativity exists on its own. Business is either its mentor or its founder or its partner or its lover, I don't know. So I'm going to ask you, each of you, and we can start with Mariyam, the youngest, on what is this, how does this make sense to you, what do you mean, what do you think when somebody says, are you creatively free? Are you really creatively free?
Hi, my name is Mariyam. I'm the creative director for this brand called Banana Labs. Banana as in haath se banana. Everything we do is handcrafted. And I think that answers the question. We do everything with hand, we do everything with so much creativity, with so much love and heart that to us, it's about just creation. It's just about creation, but also making business sense of it. So, yeah, I think that's what I would like to say, that for us, it's just to make creativity, to create it. It is in us. It is within us. We are just born with it.
Okay, you gave me a very good point because this is idealistic. And I was arguing that there is no idealism in the cohabitation between business and creativity. Teja, Mr. Teja, but you know the word Teja introduces a very warm informality. Now, where do you stand? You said for a moment that you started as an 8-year-old and you have directed films, you have scripted them, you're a technician, you have launched films. Most of the films you took names of, we would have watched, and I'd like you to name some. आप पैसे बनाते हैं या ख्वाब बनाते हैं या आप ख्वाब बनाते हैं इसलिए दूसरे लोग पैसे बनाते हैं? What's going on between this spectrum?
For me, money is second. Since I started working when I was 8 years old, I never worked for money. I never asked anyone for money. I used to work so hard, they used to feel ashamed and they started paying me.
But why were you there? What brings an 8-year-old to the world of films?
No, I never intended to come into films. For survival, I had to work.
So you were there for money?
Yes, no, for food.
Food, meaning how do you buy food? It has a currency, right?
It was like full night I used to wipe the floor. So they used to feed me. If the shoot was not there, no food. So I used to wish that everyday shoot will be there so that I'll get food. And they used to pay me 5 rupees a day. Then I joined the camera department.
Okay.
From the camera, I became a cameraman assistant. From the cameraman assistant, I became a script writer. Then I became assistant director. Then I became a cinematographer. It's like that.
But money is your partner, right?
Money comes. If you focus on money, your creativity dies.
Pallavi, would you agree? Where do you stand on this almost settled debate, but perhaps not?
His last sentence?
No,
is that?
Can we really? Is there an ideal world out there?
I think for me, the key operating word is a musician who works with so many genres. My goodness. I was in our little panel discussion we were having in the lounge. I said, oh, you know what? I'm also, other than being an Indian musician, I'm also India's only perhaps opera singer. And for me, I see idealism, but I see adaptability as the operating keyword. Adaptable to wherever you go. Adaptable to think global markets, think global collaborations, the kind of India right now, it's crazy. It excites me so much, the way it's booming. So adaptability to whichever place you're sitting at, conversing with people in the language that they enjoy, how you can bring your own self, what you're passionate about, keep that, keep the sense of yourself, but then also have a dialogue which relates to people. That to me is how artistry should operate. But one thing that he said, which I 100% agree with, uh, freedom is the essence, I think, of creating art. Freedom is extremely important. If you have that freedom, then you're unique to who you are. If you're unique to who you are, you will be visible eventually. And if you are visible eventually, you will start making money and monetizing on it. And once you monetize on it, you will be leaving behind a legacy, hopefully. So I think it goes in a chronological order.
Gautam, I'd like you to first talk a little about what you do. And tell me, what do you think about what these ladies and Teja just said? Do you really agree that it's in that poetic order?
So I'm terrible at talking about myself, but I'm the guy who's responsible for largely deciding what the masses tend to see as good or bad, right? My job is that of a perception manager. So whether you're a brand, a movie star, a movie, or even a political party, I'm the guy that most people come talking to. I'm going to play the devil's advocate over here, and I'm going to be shameless and say that मैं पहले पैसे बनाता हूँ. Because money gives me the freedom to invest into creative arts, right? We are, historically, there has always been a conflict between creative freedom and the money, the commercial aspect of it. We have great movies, that don't do well at the box office in India. And then we have really bad movies that make hundreds of crores in that sense. And somewhere you have to find that balance. And there are very sort of young people in the audience right now, but just to give an age-appropriate answer, there was a time when you had an Amitabh Bachchan also and an Amol Palekar also. And that's the idea for creative and money is to find that balance. So that, you can work with a Pallavi or you can work with Teja sir and you can sort of try and empower them. But for that, you need sort of a bank balance that is healthy and robust. It's very easy to, idealism is good. We want the dreamers because without dreaming, without vision, people perish and ideas sort of don't come to life. But it's very easy to preach philosophy on an empty stomach, on a full stomach. But the idea is that the more money that comes into an ecosystem, it fuels creativity at the end of it.
Thank you. I tend to agree. Nobody asks journalists how we make our money or how badly we make our money. But I can flip this to Mariyam. And I think the word dream seems to kind of consistently exist even when it's not spoken. Each of you have had a dream and you continue to dream. And you and I might be dreaming towards the green note or not, but there is a dream. Mariyam, when you were dreaming as a young to-be designer, were you dreaming of fame? Were you dreaming to be recognized as a creative person? Or were you dreaming of being a successful person?
So I've been working with artisans for almost 8 decades. I don't think I've ever dreamt of...
Sorry, how many decades?
8 decades. My grandfather, I've inherited this from my grandfather. So we have seen a generation of artisans. Now, during that process, I didn't even know, as of today, I'm speaking on this panel, I never dreamt of this. So I don't think I've only thought of impact, the kind of impact I can create for people, and then I think everything follows. To me, it was just about creating impact in people's lives, in families of those artisans. I've been given something that I can really turn around. So I think I did not think of fame, money, anything. I just thought of how can I make this legacy better, and everything just followed.
And what do you mean by impact?
So we've been sustaining these artisans' families, their children. We're now also working with women who are not in management, were not always in management positions. We are giving them high authority positions. We are able to sustain not only the families of artisans, but their children, their educations, a lot of things that we do. So I think for us, it's about how can the artisan sector really go ahead and also thrive and be able to create the reverse migration and all of those things. So I think for me, I don't think I looked at anything from that lens of fame. I've just looked at it through the vision of impact, and rest everything has followed through.
I'm still going to ask you one more question. How do you create impact without money? You need money to shift the lives of artisans, or do you not?
I think definitely without, it's an enabler. Money is an enabler of how to do things. I was blessed with a certain amount to take it further from there. I haven't started from grassroots level. So that has definitely been an enabler for me to take it from what place it is and to what place it is now. So money is definitely an enabler. And in fact, even when I was really young back at school, whenever I used to create assignments, design assignments, people would often ask me, oh, it's really nice, I'd like to buy it. And I think in that moment, I realized my creativity had a value. And how can I somewhere monetize it? So as long as I'm living in a dreamland, but I'm also getting paid for it, I don't think there's any better deal to it.
So we do move the from pure idealism to a little bit of both.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So that's, I think, the progression of the discussion itself. Teja, what does creativity do for you now that you have food and you have money? And as you said, you Googled Teja, and I quickly Googled. So we find you. Then what is creativity doing for you? Is it a mistress or is it a slave?
I'll tell you something different. See, there are a lot of species on Earth. Insects, birds, animals, plants, microbes, everything. Only one being knows happiness. That's humans. Now, what makes humans happy? Is it money? Money fulfills your necessities. But what really makes them happy is the art forms. Like a nice music, nice voice, nice instrument, nice design of a sari, or a nice chair, nice car. These are all art forms. That's why Indian civilization is based on the 64 art forms. And these art forms really give happiness to you. So when a weaver is weaving a sari, he will not think about the money he is going to make. He will be focusing on the number of threads he is going to put in and the finished product. See, once I make a movie, my script idea is converted onto paper. Paper goes onto the camera. Then the music is put in and the end product comes out. When we see that product, it really gives us happiness. And if people like it or not, it's not in our hands. But the journey from the first dot on the paper to onto the screen, that journey really gives us satisfaction.
I'm going to take this to Pallavi, but I must submit my disagreement with you about the weaver bit, because just putting in threads and finding a beautiful sari, if it were so poetic, if existence was so poetic for the marginalized, possibly we would not be sitting here and a weaver would be sitting here arguing their case. The fact that some of us privileged people who have had breaks that involve both money and creativity are sitting here, alerts us to why we must be alert to the needs that have not been fulfilled of other sectors. That said, Pallavi, Teja brought in an important point about happiness and what creativity does to different beings. You're a musician, a vocalist. When you sing or when a singer sings, doesn't it also affect and impact in a kind of a creative, beautiful way the lives of other species, of animals, of birds? We speak about plants being soothed, elephants being soothed. So is there a sharing, neurobiological sharing between other species and human beings when a singer sings?
I absolutely love that question. It's a beautiful question. I think whether we talk about Indian classical music, we talk about going to a temple, we talk about going to a church also. They're all, in their different ways, sonically correct to evoke a vibration. Temples, specifically, I think I really enjoy what they do, the vibration, why we do arti in the morning, And the entire vibration and energy gets captured on the top. And that's why we really feel refreshed when we walk into a temple. In fact, I love to sit there sometimes and just sing at a temple, even if it's opera. I'll tell you this quick story, which we talked about money, we talked about affecting people through music. I did a concert last year where I sang a couple of pieces, operatic pieces, but written as Indian classical or Indian poets, which was set to music by Western composers, which nobody's dabbling into, so I will dabble into it. And so I put that across, and this was in Amritsar. And then I put in some Indian mainstream Bollywood music. But I don't think there's anybody here who's thinking about collaborating operatic pieces with Indian Bollywood music. It's not done until I had put it there. And from that concert, I'm invited to Ambala, a very small city. And I wasn't expecting that, absolutely not. And when I went to Ambala, it wasn't a curated concert that we're inviting these many guests. This is the price. No, it's open to public. It was in an open space, open to public. Anybody could come in. I had people from various spaces there. And the surprising aspect for me is when, after I finished, I was asked to sing more opera versus Hindi music, although I put both as it evoked an emotion for me. That was really exciting because that means that impacted you. And that's what I was saying about adaptability. Right from the beginning, wherever you go, take a piece of what you love, but also take a piece of what people want to hear. How it affects, as a singer, what you create from inside, what you feel inside when you put your music forward, it impacts and creates energy in every single living thing on this planet. Anywhere you go, I derive that energy from wherever I'm moving. Space matters. Why do we go to the mandir? What does it do for you? Are you just going there because you have to chant a mantra or it's a part of our tradition? No, I think sit there for a minute and feel what the energy feels like when you go there. Why are you there? Why are we doing Aarti in the morning? I don't think we talk about that enough. So everything that's music, everything that involves music in any place in the world, it creates energy. It will always create energy. And so that's how I relate to, I'll give you an example. I hope this is not a bit too long, no, but I went to Ambala, and I took this French piece. It's called Habanera. It's a very famous piece. And I'm just sitting there. This is not planned. And I just go, whatever. But I decided to kind of blend the two, and it was loved by everybody. It became a standing ovation. I didn't walk in there expecting that. It just happened. So I like to play with music. I'm sitting in India, I'm singing ghazals, and there's a Chinese ambassador sitting there. He's like, "Can you sing in Chinese?" I said, "I couldn't until yesterday, but if you want, I'll do it today." So I learned Chinese. I went to Korea, I learned Korean. Languages at this point, with the knowledge, I'm singing in German, Hindi, French, Bengali, Japanese, Korean. I just love to have that knowledge. And let me tell you, that monetizes. If you're talking to people in their own language, you will monetize on it.
I have a small question. It's not leaving my mind. It sounds a little mundane, giving the elevation you gave to this panel, and thank you for that. It struck me from a model of creating concerts, if it's free for attendees, who pays for, let's say, a singer like you or the band and orchestra? फिर पैसे कौन देता है? How is it? How can I walk in free? Somebody is paying for the artist, right? Who is paying?
There are times where it's ticketed. When I know I'm talking to an audience, I keep audience in mind. I do a data analysis for myself every time. Where am I going? Who am I talking to? That doesn't mean I'm going to compromise on my creative freedom. But I do a data analysis and I say, okay, I'm going to Ambala. I'm doing this in an open amphitheater. Yes, I want to be paid, but I want to have people there listening to what I'm putting across. Let's make it a little easier. Let's reduce the price. Then I think the government needs to do more, but I think the government is doing a lot too. There's more to be done. I don't think the sky is the limit, but the government is pushing initiatives. We're sitting in, here with Ministry of Culture. There's a lot of push that's happening. They do support you. Do I believe there should be more? Absolutely. One thing I really want to say is, it may be off topic. So you go out, you do a concert at Carnegie Hall, you do a concert at Lincoln Center, you come back here and the world is like, wow, Pallavi, you did a concert at Carnegie Hall, that's crazy, wonderful. I'd really, really be the proudest person the day I go out. I was performing everywhere. I go out and I say, I performed at this venue in India. And your ears and eyes just pop up because it is so prestigious, it has so much value. I think we need that big time in this country. It has its value, I'm very proud of it to be performing at Carnegie Hall and Lincoln Center. But I want that in India. I really want a space here where we don't have to glorify Madison Square Garden or Carnegie Hall, we glorify in India.
I think
Those
we have
spaces.
glorified spaces in India. Probably they are not promoted as glorified.
Right.
Gautam, I'm coming to you with this idea of promotion. If you can comment on that. And you said something very important, at least to the journalist in me, perception. You can change perception and you can position people either from a creativity point of view or a commerce point of view, perhaps both. How do you project politicians? Because I think they need both to win our votes.
See, in a post-COVID world, right, the greatest challenge that any politician faces is authenticity. Cameras are on everybody 24/7. Anybody with a phone can sort of bring the truth out. And it's coming out, and media is becoming more accessible as we speak now. I think we have enough media channels in multiple languages for everybody's informed, whether it's an urban area or a rural area or a village somewhere. Whereas I won't delve into the mechanics of sort of projecting a politician because it's a slightly longer topic. But my only thing to most politicians today that I come across, and I work with a lot of state CMs and sometimes at the center also, is that your messaging has to be authentic, because you are now reaching, in the next 2 years, you're going to see a lot of fake news being caught out, and it's going to start sort of dissipating and quicker than you can imagine in that sense. And therein sort of, I feel, responsible politicking will come into play. And it's a natural market progression. It's a natural evolution of our country. There are a lot of people who will say that there are things that are wrong with India. I'm on the other side. I think there are a lot of things that are going right with India. We are a 75 years old country. We are not like the US or any other country that's been around. We were pretty much bankrupt when we got our independence, and we had nothing left, right? 75 years puts us in the young bracket, so you're going to see that evolution come in quicker. I think give us 350 years like the US is, and we'll do wonders for not just for ourselves, but for the rest of the world. And I think this is where responsible politicking will come into play. The authenticity of it all will come into play.
How much does it take a lot of money to create authenticity in perception?
You know, there's a very famous saying, I think it was Vijay Lakshmi Pandit who said this, that it takes a lot of money to put Gandhiji in poverty, right? Anything that's good in life will require money, right? When I say that paisa banana achhi baat hai, I'm not talking about making money for yourself and spending it on yourself. I'm all for responsible capitalism. I have a deep distaste for entrepreneurs and people who are sitting on money, who go about buying things that one doesn't really need in that sense. The idea of us as entrepreneurs, capitalists, or people who are promoting responsible capitalism is that you're investing into the right things, in infrastructure, in things that really matter, like arts and culture. Because the reality is that I can make all the money in the world, but I will not get the applause that a Pallavi gets, right? Because that's pure creativity coming in. I mean, to put it in Hindi, this is where Saraswati resides. And that is where money needs to be utilized.
Yeah, thank you. These are actually, the audience is very tight and small, and I hope we will still have some questions, or we'll ask each other. But I do want to bring this to Teja. We are talking of a kind of a we are morally attributing, inadvertently even, a higher ground to creativity and a slightly offset ground to money because somehow we see it as not the best value. I wonder why. I wonder why we are all arguing so much for creativity, impact, elevation, elegance, skill, music, authenticity, and then money becomes a medium, but it's not the goal. Teja, Mother India, the film, took huge money to show the life of poor people. I mean, I can count so many other Hindi films, but I'm just saying Mother India because it's India, it's mother. We talked about the country, we talked about 75 years and so forth. So, गरीबों पे फिल्में बनाने के लिए भी कितना पैसा लगता है? Is there a conscience slip or flip there when a director or a scriptwriter is working on that project? Meaning, to narrate the life of a poor farmer, you need crores of rupees. To alert people to Swadesh, you need to pay a Sharu Khan. So, creativity or business का दंगल जो है, आपका conscience कैसे settle करता है?
See, when I want to tell a story, I don't bother whether it's about a poor man or a rich man. The story decides how much money has to be spent on it. If you overspend, also the movie will not work. If you underspend, also it doesn't work. The story will tell, you have to spend this much money to make the story authentic. So if the hero is supposed to be an auto rickshaw driver, he has to be an auto rickshaw driver. Just because you put in Shah Rukh Khan or Rajinikanth, you cannot make him a Benz driver. The story value goes down. So it's not about the poverty or the poor people or the rich people. The story will decide how much to spend. As a film.
Meaning to create a poor set, a poverty set, you still require money, right?
You require money. If you don't know the art form of how to make a hut, then you'll end up spending money like you built a palace. That's what happens in today's cinema. Why movies are going over budget is because people who do not know the art form have come into the industry. That's why many films are going beyond budget.
That's not what I was asking, but it's a valuable answer nevertheless. I was asking about the writer's conscience in creating an expensive film about a poor man.
The writer doesn't create the expense.
Director, the crew, the director, the casting people, the producer is spending huge money to narrate the life of a gharib.
No, it's not like that.
No?
No. He will spend money to make a movie, whether it's a poor man's story or a rich man's story.
Okay. So the moral quickly adjusts itself and shifts because the producer still has crores to spend. You get what I'm just laying out the irony.
Yeah. You're trying to tell that money is more important than that.
I don't know. I mean, you see, if I was on a panel, if somebody was asking me, I will place creativity.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. That's why I suggested that why do we morally place money second? I'm trying to understand.
See, let us say a producer has millions of money. And if he doesn't have a creative writer, it's useless.
So the twain must coexist.
Yes.
Can I open any questions from people here? If we can start with at least one question, then I can bring it back to the panelists. Yes, please.
It's like a group discussion.
Yes.
I was hearing you very, very peculiarly and very tough, very sensitive and a very smart question you have asked, ma'am, which can create a riot in the system of idealism versus the money, first question. Second, the recent one which you have just asked, that how putting up to create a story on a small poor man, you have to invest like millions, right? So that's a beautiful two questions which you have, which I really appreciate, and I don't know how to frame the answer for that. The people Gautam, like people like Mr. Gautam, he's the best person because he know how to monetize. So I would like him to answer if he can press something on it. See, as an industrialist and philanthropist, I'm asking because as a philanthropy, we invest a lot. So, but I would like to know him. How would he like to monetize this thing?
I'm going to try and answer your question because we are moving into areas of deep philosophy now. See, I'm going to digress a little bit because, we've actually moved into a very serious discussion about money meets creativity and the arts and everything.
Your mic, you can be, let's switch it on, take this in the meantime.
I'm going to digress a bit. See, we've grown up in a country which was built on socialism, right? So we've glorified poverty. We've glorified being poor and poor people and sort of, it's good to sacrifice and money is evil and it's capitalistic. And we've seen enough movies where always the rich person has been portrayed as evil. The reality is that capitalism works, and I'm not going to get into this thing, but the largely sort of what I'm coming to is responsible capitalism. Monetization, when done the right way, whether it's a content creator, whether it's somebody like Pallavi, whether it's somebody like Teja sir, who's made some great movies, and if you've not seen it, please watch Jayam, and Chitram, because one of the better movies to come out of Indian cinema. You need that. You need to be able to create stuff and monetize it so that there is more room for the sort of, you get the ball rolling to a degree. Today, the fact is when good movies don't make the money, people walk away from it. When good sort of music does not reach your ears, people walk away from it. When you don't get the chance to experience the better things in life, you assume that things are not right in that sense. Today, we look to the West and we sit and say, oh my God, this is great. There's a Guggenheim Museum somewhere in New York, or there is the Louvre, or there is, opera happening somewhere in Italy and stuff. Our lives as a country changed when liberalization came in. The day India opened up and said, hey, listen, we have the ability to consume and to make money, the world came to our doorstep, right? And now our sort of industrialists and our business people are known around the world, and our valuations are hitting multi-billions. You're going to see a lot of responsible capitalism. You're going to see a lot of people come forward, put money into the right places. You're going to see a lot of monetization of good things happening. So I'm very bullish and optimistic when it comes to, the monetization of the right things. And what's going to happen is that there is going to be See, the good thing about a Facebook and Instagram and Meta and all of those things is that it's democratized platforms at the end of the day. They've made everybody into a content creator. There are no entries. There are no barrier entries. With AI coming in, it's going to be very easy for people to be able to create content. And that's where monetization will, by default, market forces will come into play. But I still stick to my point, paisa banana achhi baat hai, and you're going to be able to, as long as you're investing in the right things, especially arts and culture, I think we are all on a winning ticket.
We have a question there. Does the CEF team have a mic, or should we get one from the stage? Do you have a mic on the floor? No. Here you are.
Insightful information. This is Divakar with Red Fire. We are speaking about building creative Bharat. Actually, we have the highest creative people. With the changing landscape of artificial intelligence impacting so much on the creativity, and we have highest number of AI resources in India, can we foresee we are going to be the next global leader in the creative industry?
Is that a question you asked?
Yeah, I want to give the opinion of panel members.
Okay, so a couple of you can respond briefly because we had a buzzer, and so we can have brief answers maybe from everyone.
Yeah, Teja, sir.
I'd just like to confirm. So your question is the impact of AI on...
Will we be the next creative power, global creative power? Is that how I...
See, the technology impact is there heavily on the creativity today, and we have highest number of AI resources in India. Take any company from any industry vertical is coming to India as the global value centers or GCCs because of this specific strength what we have. By using this strength, can we be the next global leader? Is there any kind of attempts we can make? That's what my question.
I will keep this very short and brief. I think India is a booming market. I think AI is really, really important. As an artist, I love exploring with AI. It is very helpful. It's helpful in research. I do see India as a global superpower very shortly. I really enjoy, no matter what music I'm singing, I'm very proud of the fact that I'm Indian. Wherever I go, I carry that badge with pride. But yes, to answer your question, a big, big yes.
Adding to Pallavi, I'd say definitely we've been using AI in our designs to kind of enhance them, to see different permutations and combinations. It makes us do things more faster. Also, I don't think we should be demonizing AI like we shouldn't be demonizing money. And I think both of these are things which you can't avoid. And India is definitely going to boom, and India is booming. And I'm also one of the big advocates of Indian artisans, advocates of Indianness. Thank you. I'm just saying, yeah, I'm super proud to be Indian and super proud to take India global.
Could I get a line each from, at least from Teja? Sure, please. We'll wrap it up. The buzzer, sir, we are getting there.
India was always ahead in creativity, but once we opened up to the world, our creativity has reached a lot of places. The greatest stories ever written in the world are Ramayana and Mahabharata. No one can write a greater story than both of them. So I think we are the greatest creators in the world.
The one-word answer to your question is yes. But let me sort of give you a little bit of an insight in one sentence. No amount of technology, whether AI or otherwise, can replace human creativity. I don't foresee that happening. You cannot replace a good musician or a writer or a director or even an actor using AI to the single sort of people in the audience. I can give all of them an AI girlfriend tomorrow morning, but it's never going to be the real thing. And that's the fact of it.
I hope your question was partly answered. Sir, if I'm allowed, I'll allow you the question, but I think we are expected to wrap up. We have one more question. Should I take it, or if one of the organizers could advise me? It's just yes or no. We are, both answers are equally good. Okay, please, welcome. Sir, please, if you can put on your mic.
मेरा नाम जितेंद्र तिवारी है। सर, जिस तरह से वेब्स इंडिया एक प्लेटफॉर्म बनाया गया है और फिल्मों की भी रेगुलेटरी होती है, एक पैरामीटर्स हैं, उसके हिसाब से फिल्म बनती है और फिर एक पैरामीटर उसका सेट है। पर जो अभी स्टोरी टेलिंग जो है और जो रील्स वगैरह है, इसके लिए कोई ऐसी रेगुलेटरी नहीं बनानी चाहिए कि जिस तरह से जिसको नॉलेज है, जो बड़े बड़े इंस्टीट्यूशन में अपना, अभी रजत जी भी आए हुए थे, तो रजत जी भी ये कह रहे थे कि वो इंस्टीट्यूशन काफ़ी महंगे हैं जहाँ पर वो चीज़ें सीखी जाती हैं। तो जो आम टीयर 2 टीयर 3 में जो लोग हैं, जो जिनके अंदर क्रिएटिविटी है और सोशल मीडिया के माध्यम से करना चाहते हैं, तो पर चीज़ें कई बार चल नहीं पाती। यूट्यूब से स्ट्राइक आ जाएगी, इंस्टा पे स्ट्राइक आ जाएगी। तो कुछ ऐसे पैरामीटर्स सरकार की तरफ से या जो कोई ऐसी इंडिपेंडेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हो जो ऐसे पैरामीटर सेट करे, तो मुझे लगता है इससे और क्रिएटिविटी बढ़ेगी और लोग और सोशल मीडिया के माध्यम से उन चीज़ों को पहुँचा सकते हैं।
Actually, I'd like to respond to that. TikTok की जो boom थी, before TikTok was banned, TikTok belonged to tier 2, और वहाँ से जो podcasters, idea innovators निकले, studies की गई हैं कि सबसे ज़्यादा conversion of social media impact वहाँ से आया when housewives, जिनको और कोई ज़रिया नहीं था, who were showing कि दाल ऐसे बनानी है और ये ऐसे काटना है और पाइनएप्पल वैसे कटता है। पारोमिता वोहरा फिल्म मेकर का आपने शायद नाम सुना होगा। उन्होंने मुझे मेरी किताब के लिए एक इंस्टेंस बताया जहाँ एक सास और बहू एक सीरीज़ क्रिएट करते थे टिकटॉक के लिए, जो फिर यूट्यूब पे गई, जहाँ सास हमेशा राजेश खन्ना बनती थी और बहू जो थी वो कोई एक किरदार बनती थी जो राजेश खन्ना की फिल्मों में था। And they would keep recreating this. और वहाँ
I would have to interrupt this session.
ड्रामा के लिए offers आए. We'll end. So concluding, thank you very much. Z.D. Smith said that ego और humility दोनों चाहिए, creativity and business दोनों चाहिए, and we need discipline and risk. Thank you all of you. Thank you CEF for having us here.
It is our honor and privilege to have him here with us. We also have Dr. Ajay Sharma ji here, Assistant Secretary General, FICCI and Spokesperson BJP.